Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dose of Common Sense. And I have one question. If common sense is supposed to be so damn common, why is it that no one has it?
And good afternoon, everybody. Been a while. Welcome to the Dose of Common Sense. How y'all doing today? Yes, we know it's been a while since we've been here, but unfortunately we've had the event otherwise known as life take place. And not to mention, we've also have some changes coming. Basically, we're going to change the name of this just a little bit. We're still going to leave it the Dose of Common Sense, but Tech Files is, how shall we say? Tech Files is going to be front and center at most of what we do. But when it comes to the podcasting stuff and when it comes to the reviews of phones and cases and opinions, well, I can't necessarily tie that into Tech Files because obviously Tech Files media handles a lot of things now. So we're going to change it to Wrecked Tech, as in some of the tech we're going to review is wrecked, quite. So welcome to that. But anyway, let's get started with some of this stuff, shall we? Now, Qualcomm, for those of you who have been waiting with anticipation or not, Qualcomm's 670, 640, and 460 Snapdragon specs have leaked. And I'm really, I don't know, I guess I'm in the mood of not caring. Obviously, this is going to have the new X20 LTE chips put in it, which means it is going to be capable or soon capable of receiving gigabit LTE, just like most of the chips that are out right now are capable of it. However, the X20 will be more capable than the ones that were there before. Snapdragon 835 is already technically capable of handling gigabit LTE, but we still have to get to the gigabit LTE whenever they decide to come up with an actual release date, which, depending on who you ask, if it's either already released or in the process thereof. So nobody can make up their mind. So when you get gigabit LTE over a speed test, then that will be the gigabit over the LTE on the speed test. So welcome to it. Next up, the face unlock feature that you have grown to love or not on phones such as the iPhone X or the OnePlus 5T are now going to be coming to the OnePlus 5, possibly the OnePlus 3 and the OnePlus 3T. They still haven't figured that out yet. Carl Pei is somewhat, as usual, vague. So, anyhow, he took to Twitter to announce that the popular face unlock feature will be on the 5T now, as it always is, and it'll be making its way to the older brother. Of course, it came as exciting news, but as usual, there's always a small caveat with it. It's coming through an over-the-air update. Whether or not that's going to be anytime soon, though, is completely and utterly to the objective of OnePlus. So when it gets there, it gets there. We'll all know about it. Face Unlock, in my opinion, is pretty much replaced Touch ID on the iPhone X. Now, I have the iPhone 7 Plus, and I'm honestly, the jury's still out. I mean, I've messed with Face ID. It works about 99% of the time, and it works correctly, and these people that say they've goofed around it, well, I want to know what they're doing, because they're probably not following quote-unquote directions. and finding some creative and wonderful way to bork it up. Next, but certainly not least, Apple is going to temporarily drop the price of the iPhone battery replacement, promises an iOS update to address the battery health, and of course, a new apology, considering Apple has decided to disclose in a nonchalant way, yes, of course we throttle. Why do we throttle? Because the battery, quite honestly, well, some of it can't handle some of the new operating system. I'm kind of thinking a little bit bullshit, but be that as it may, I'll hold you, the jury, responsible for this. So, Apple is going to temporarily drop the price of the iPhone battery. Last time I checked, it was somewhere in the neighborhood of about $59 for a replacement. As far as apologies go, Apple, you've been doing this for 10 years. Just because you were caught, just go ahead and admit it. Yeah, I kind of agree with it. Just go ahead and admit it. Just go ahead and put it out there. You can pretty much buy any apology at this particular point with the cash that you have on hand. I like your product. I know a lot of people listening to this probably like your product too. I don't think finally admitting to something that everyone pretty much knew is going to be particularly bad to your health. I mean, it could always be different. You could always have the case of the exploding Note 7, and I will leave it at that. So, go figure. And the battery price will be all the way down to $29. So, hey, that's pretty good, actually. I'll definitely deal with that. But we're going to get away from Apple. We're going to get away from Apple for a minute. And no, we're not going... Well, we're going to end up running right into it. So, Chrome OS will finally let you run Android apps in the background. Last time I checked, they were supposed to do this as of about a year plus ago. I wonder what kind of put them in the mood that they had to do it. So, probably because everybody was complaining that this was capable of it and you weren't able to let it. So, way to go, Google, for finally living up to your word. Maybe. So, okay, we are now going to run headlong into Samsung. And Samsung, I'm just going to put it like this. I think you come up with awesome phones. I think your idea of a digital assistant sucks. The phone was awesome. As far as I'm concerned, Bixby is a complete, total, utter dumpster fire disaster. Bixby was a good idea in a concept. And quite honestly, you should have stopped there. Because Bixby turned out to be one of those things that was good in thought, but when it turned out to be a practice, it was kind of like a monkey fucking a football. And it just did not belong. So I've disabled the Bixby app completely, utterly, and I really don't give a shit about the Bixby button. I won't be using it ever. It's just as good to me to say, hey, instead of going, hi, Bixby. No. And I'm sorry for those of you that actually had Bixby on that I've actually triggered. It's not going to be worth anything. And it isn't worth anything. So if you have the Galaxy S8 or the Galaxy S8 Plus, do yourself a favor, do everybody around you a favor, just go ahead and disable Bixby now. Let's save yourself a whole lot of headache and heartache and just dump the trash. And maybe they won't put it in the S9. Well, then again, they probably will, considering it's already in production, I'm sure. So, next up on our quick list is going to be several Amazon Fire TV owners report not being able to access the YouTube app. No kidding. The last time I checked, Amazon and Google were still involved in the middle of a pissing contest about you can't use my thing. Well, I can't use your thing. You can't use mine. And I want to be part of Google and I want to be a part of Amazon. Guys, I don't know, just adult up, okay? Adult up, shake hands, and just suck it up. You both need the other one to succeed as a company. We know this. It's not a mystery. Google sold a lot of Chromecast through Amazon. Google sold a lot of stuff through Amazon, and Amazon sold a lot of stuff with the help of Google. So, guys, just shake hands and go on. I mean, this is just getting stupid. And speaking of Samsung, again, they are now rolling out Oreo Beta 5 to those of you with the S8 and the S8 Plus, and to those of you who, of course, care. I haven't been invited to take part in the beta. I kind of wish I was, because I would like to see if it would cure, well, it's not going to cure, but kind of alleviate the screen burn-in issue that I'm having on the S8 Plus, which is kind of making me wonder about going full iPhone all the time. I mean, 2 of my 3 devices are already iOS. I'm honestly thinking about making the third that. Let's put it this way, I'm sure I would have fewer problems. That doesn't mean I don't like Android. I still like Android, but in my personal opinion, lately, I don't know, it's just like the S8 Plus is really not turning into my bag. So, and in case anyone's wondering, the Pixel did not outsell the iPhone X this holiday weekend. If anybody had that dream or that fantasy, let me just cure you right now. iPhone X just pretty much crushed it. And they will probably continue to crush it, considering it is probably the best designed iPhone, aside from the fact that it's a first gen, aside from the fact that it's going to have its bugs. It will outsell the Pixel. And it will outsell the Pixel for the foreseeable future. So if anybody thinks that it's not going to do that, wake up. And next up, Motorola and HTC say they don't throttle old phones like Apple. Okay. I'll give you their opinion and I'll give you my truth. Motorola and HTC, no, they don't throttle phones like Apple. Motorola likes to come out with builds that are released approximately 9 days after the operating system's announced, and battery life ends up screwing the pooch. HTC loves to come out with phones that don't have the term marketing behind them. I love HTC to death. I wish I had an HTC now. It might prevent some of the issues that I've had with Bixby. But guys, those of you who live in reality land know as well as I do that both Motorola and HTC have had problems with their phones in the past. Don't let anybody kid you. And I'm not even going to waste any more time with that. Next, Google Store drops to Pixel C. I would hope so, considering it's over 3 years old. You stick with the Pixel Book, you're fine. If you can get a hold of the Pixel C, though, it's a very good product. It's still a very good product. It only came out when Marshmallow showed up. So it should have the support for Oreo, at the very least. And if you pay attention to XDA developers, it's probably got support for a lot more than that. So let's just all hope, okay? Good. Now, next up, if I can see anything else here. Okay, so the Galaxy S9 and the S9 Plus have already passed through the FCC. That's really no surprise considering. And rumors are going to have it that this particular phone will not, and I'm knocking on wood here, will not have the fingerprint sensor in the most inconvenient place on planet Earth. It will be near the camera sensor, but not so near the camera sensor that it feels like it's on top of the damn thing. So there is that hope. And the rumors still say that this thing is going to be announced during CES. I don't quite believe that. I think that we're going to be looking at, the phone's going to be at CES, but they're just probably going to show it to select media outlets and maybe select carriers. You know, CES is not just all, hey, see what we made, and announce it to the world. They're probably going to say, hey, see what we made and keep your mouth shut for the next month. So there is that. And just for those curious that love to chase model numbers, it is going to be the SM960F and the SM965F. So right now, that's all we pretty much know. I'm expecting this thing to make an appearance sometime after CES. This thing ain't showing up at CES. We haven't had a Samsung show up at CES for 4 or 5 years. At least not anything flagship related. So if you're waiting for it to make an event in Las Vegas, don't necessarily hold your breath. That's all I'm going to say about that one. But the LG G6 Android Oreo update is being released in beta in China right now. Hopefully the G6 will actually get the Oreo update sometime before Rapture. As we all know that LG is kind of sort of delayed when it comes to software updates, at least major software updates. But hopefully it will get better. And from the looks of things, it probably is getting better from a certain standpoint. So, let's see, what else is next on our dock for today? And yeah, it's been a while since I've been here. Sorry, guys. I promise it will not be a 3-month wait before the next podcast again. Although we are working on a few things, so stay patient with us. Send me a tweet at RecDTech, REKDTEK. Or if you wish to, you can also tweet me at TechFiles Media on Twitter. That part hasn't changed. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. This one ought to be real fun. So ZTE lists the Blade V9 on its website for a hot minute and then takes it down. I'm kind of glad on this one, considering you just came out with the Blade Z not that long ago. I wouldn't follow that up with another Blade for a while. You know, don't burn this brand out before you absolutely have to. It's a popular phone. There's some places that this can't be kept in to save its absolute life. So, and if anybody's interested in picking up EVO Plus micro SD card, they are available at Best Buy for $10 or $20 off for the 32 gigabyte version and $30 off for the 64 gigabyte version. So if you need a micro SD, hop on over to Best Buy about as soon as you can. SoftBank acquires a large stake in Uber today. I'm just wondering one thing, and this is all I'm going to waste my breath on Uber or SoftBank, and that would be why. So we shall see, that's for sure. Sony may or may not be launching or in the process of launching a new phone. It is model H4233, and according to Android Authority, this could be launched as the next Xperia XA2 Ultra. Why? It's not going to be available in the States. Why do we care? So, I don't know. I really don't. Let's just see what happens from it. This one has been in the news for a couple of days now. I'm just going to kind of address this briefly. Samsung is actually looking into this problem. Evidently, it's become large enough for people not to ignore. The Galaxy Note 8 and the Tab S3 units are refusing to turn on after their batteries have been drained. And this sounds like a major issue. It almost sounds like a soft brick having to do with battery drainage. I know LG, when they first came out with the K7 and the K10, if you were draining the battery completely dead, it would sometimes take up to 45 minutes for it to even register that it was charging again. And some people would take that as a phone fail, but in this particular case, I think it was just simply, hey, we just drained the battery too damn much. So it would take time for it to let us know that it was charging again. So hopefully we'll find out more about that in the next couple of days. And coming around the bend for the final few here. The Huawei Mate Pro and the Honor 7X, they will be entering the U.S. market. Let's see if they have a date certain here. No, they don't. It will be entering the U.S. market sometime in Q1 2018. My guess on this one is probably going to be shortly after CES, and latest probably in February. I don't think they want to be caught too much later than that. Otherwise, their Mate 10 Pro and their Honor 7X is going to be dated because, as everybody well knows, this thing has already been out for about a month. It sits out any longer than that, and it's going to be definitely dated. So, and we all know months equals years as far as the ecosystem is concerned. So, in my opinion, the sooner the better. So, but guys, I tell you what, we're going to wrap that one up for the moment. I do have a little bit of a rant to make, though. And this is pretty much going to be the particular issue with this. So, while I've been away, I've had to get a couple of different cases for my phones. And it took me a while to find them, and I just kind of wondered why. And I now realize something. A lot of the cases for a lot of the phones now suck. And it's nobody's fault. I definitely don't even blame the case companies. Well, yeah, I do. Here's where I'm coming from on this. Most cases from the manufacturer, and I'm speaking of Apple exclusively, they know what their customers want, and they're not going to really go too far out of the norm to provide the customers with that. The iPhone 7, the 8, and even the 10, they have awesome cases. I mean, you don't have to buy these cases that look like bricks, and they look nowhere near like what the phone's designed for. I mean, we spend this money on a phone for a reason. It's because it looks good and it works really well. And I'm just wondering why in the name of hell that people that make cases for phones that look good and operate well want to make a phone case that kind of looks like something that I wouldn't put a redheaded stepchild in if it was frozen, buried, and on fire. Case makers, you've got to come up with better cases than this. I don't care if it's 2-layer. I don't care if it's 1-layer. D-Brand's whipping your ass right now. You know, I've never even used D-Brand. Almost did once, but I'd almost rather use a D-Brand skin than put one of your ugly-ass cases on any one of my phones, period. You know, it's just ridiculous. Why would someone pay $40-some? First off, why would somebody pay $40-some for a case when the actual cost of them is probably going to be less than $20 in a lot of cases? And you know, I'm not afraid to say, OtterBox, I'm kind of aiming some of this at you, but you've gotten better over the years. There are some case makers right now that I just literally wondered, what the hell did you all come up with? How did you come up with this design? I got an idea. Let's take a bunch of darts and let's throw them at a board. And whichever one lands on what we think is the coolest, we're going to make that case and we're going to sell it to you for extraordinary amounts of money. Are you kidding? Guys, we got to do better on these cases. Let's just work on it, okay? Please, before one of us has a brain hemorrhage trying to figure out how you decided to do this with. But I digress. Okay, guys, we're going to wrap this up for today. So, This is Ed, otherwise known as Rec Tech. This is the Dose of Common Sense. And guys, just before I go, I am going to let you know we are going to attempt to do the best of 2017 as far as phones, cases, and things go. This will be a lot longer podcast than normal, so just be prepared. We're going to have more than one person on, and maybe several different segments. So, guys, thanks for hanging with me. I'm back, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.